What's going on, Patriots? If it's your first time tuning into the broadcast, do me a favor. Go ahead on, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell up top. Please like and share. Please like and share. So, just got off work. I told you guys that I want to give y'all information. I'm trying to keep it going, trying to keep it where y'all can find out what's going on, giving you some decent streams. I am off tomorrow, so we will have a big live stream tomorrow and Sunday to make up from me not giving y'all that real news like I normally do. But before we get further into it, here's some information I want to share with y'all that is coming straight out of Fox News. And then we gonna break it down like always, and I'll tell you what I think about it.
Fox News alert. A bombshell new report suggesting Biden's botched exit from Afghanistan was even worse than we thought. According to the New York Times, the ISIS terrorist that Biden supposedly droned in retaliation for the airport attack in Kabul was not an ISIS terrorist after all. He was a U.S. aid worker. In his rush to clean up the mess his incompetence caused at the airport, where 13 U.S. service members lost their lives, he authorized a drone strike on the wrong guy and likely killed several children as well. Video uncovered by the Times shows that the aid worker was not loading bombs into his car. He was loading bottles of water. Joining me now are two Afghanistan war vets, my fellow Fox and Friends weekend co-host Pete Hegseth and Sean Parnell, retired Army infantry captain. Pete, we were on the air when that drone stroke occurred, and we actually thought, okay, maybe he's finally getting something right here, but we were wrong. Your reaction?
It appears we may be. I mean, first of all, Rachel, I'm always skeptical of the New York Times. I'm always skeptical of international journalists given free access in the now Taliban-controlled Kabul. You don't have this kind of extensive reporting without the approval of the Taliban. So they're trying to, even if it's Joe Biden, they're trying to make America look bad, number one. But if this reporting is correct, then indeed everything you're saying is correct, which is in their haste to make it look like they're doing something, they pushed and pushed and pushed and potentially killed an aid worker who was working on behalf of the United States, which leads to the fact that I have zero confidence in Joe Biden as a commander-in-chief, especially considering the fact that we had threat reporting on the airport at the Abbey Gate in the time period in which our Marines were still allowed to gather the way that they did. And Sean Parnell knows as well as anybody, if you have a threat active on a location, you have two choices. Go on the offense and create a new perimeter, change the dynamics, or refortify your position. And they did neither. So this is a cascading set of decisions by the Biden administration. And now if this reporting's true, tragically, in their desire to make themselves look good, they didn't improve the security situation at all, and the wrong people are dead.
Yeah.
What did I tell y'all? What did I tell y'all earlier? When I first heard about, they said they were going to retaliate on the situation that happened in Afghanistan, in Kabul, when the 13 of our servicemen and women were tragically murdered. They bust out and told us all this, we're going to not let them get away with it. And what did I say? That I guarantee you that they hit just two people. There was some BS behind it. And lo and behold, what do we have here? They didn't even get the correct people. They got their own people. Person that has been going out here doing the work for the U.S. of A. And what even more tragic is that person still is stuck in Afghanistan the last time we took notice of this. That's why I say you can't trust, you cannot trust these liberals, they don't have no truth in them. They just don't. The truth don't even exist. Look at this situation right here. Just look at how disturbing this is. Do you know how it looks for our allies? Our allies look at us now even more incompetent to lead, to even protect not only our own citizens, but even them if they went to war with one of these countries out here. But yet still, you got mainstream media that will not report on this. I mean, maybe CNN, because CNN is getting tired of the theatrics of what Biden's got going on, because the Wokians are not getting nothing in return when it comes to black folks being a victim. But besides all that, they struck the wrong person. All right, let's continue with this video.
It's really tragic. Sean, I want to play this clip, if I could, from our Defense Secretary, Lloyd Austin, who is now concerned that we're going to have more terrorism, not less, following this withdrawal. Take a listen.
The whole community is kind of watching to see what happens and whether or not Al-Qaeda has the ability to regenerate in Afghanistan. The nature of Al-Qaeda and ISIS-K is that they will always attempt to find space to grow and regenerate, whether it's there, whether it's in Somalia, whether it's in any other ungoverned space.
All right, I had to stop it one more time. I want y'all to be reintroduced to the first black defense secretary of our nation, Lloyd Austin, who has the worst record of doing anything potentially right. That's right. He was handpicked by Biden himself. I wonder if Biden called him a boy when he picked him. You know, he loves doing that to black liberals. Come here, boy. You good old boy, ain't you? I wonder if he did that to Austin in front of millions of people of different colors. You know what I'm saying? Because, a lot of these woke black folks, they say they don't like to be called boy by white Americans, or as my dog, shout out to AK Nation, be saying, glacier gliders. But when they get in front of white liberals, they're comfortable with being called boy. They're comfortable with being questioned about their blackness. They're comfortable with that. It's like, it's okay. I guess maybe they think that, they get a pass because being a white liberal, you're considered a light-skinned black person. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. I don't understand it. But yeah, that's the guy that we got right here, who's a civilian now, ex-military, who was a general. He made it to become a general. So it makes you ask yourself, how the fuck does this guy not know how to protect the American people or lead in a way to protect our American military if you are the defense secretary? You're Lloyd Austin. You got all these accolades. You should be all over this. You should have sought my man's Biden Beijing down and said, "Hey, Biden Beijing, this ain't it." But I guess this is what happens when you're dealing with these mediocres, right? These liberal freedom fighters. They just do mistakes and say whatever the hell they got to say to shut the American people up and make it up as they go along, right?
Sean, how much of this increase in terrorism that we're now hearing, not just Austin talk about, but also General Milley, and I don't know how much of this is CYA, but, we're seeing that there's an increase now. I mean, is it worse? Are we in a worse position today on the eve of the 20th anniversary of 9/11 than we were maybe even when this whole thing started?
Yeah, tragically, I think that we are. And you can lay all of this He basically, in a part of this tragic withdrawal in Afghanistan, he basically installed a terrorist superstate in Afghanistan. So as part of the Taliban interim government is a guy named Siraj Haqqani. Siraj Haqqani has a $10 million State Department bounty on his head. Joe Biden is openly negotiating with organizations like the Taliban, with Hekmatyar, with the Haqqani Network, aiding and abetting terrorist groups on the eve of 9/11. Rachel, if that is not something that is resignation worthy, if that is not something that is impeachment worthy, that I don't know what is. And I think, unfortunately, our world is a far more dangerous place now, not because we left Afghanistan, but because of the way we left Afghanistan and the fact that we have basically a geriatric walking foreign policy disaster as our commander-in-chief. And so, yes, the world is more dangerous leading into the 20th anniversary of September 11th.
You know, that's funny. You know it's real. And shout out to Shadow 11 for the $4.99 super chat. Let's get them super chats up here, man. Let's see if we can get some more. Let's see if we can raise about $10 or $15 super chat, because there's a lot I got to break down tonight. Let's keep sharing this. Let's see if we can get a lot of people in the chats. Let's keep hitting the like button. Let's see if we can get up to about 30 likes by the end of this. But just imagine that, you know. Just imagine someone calling you a geriatric president. That's basically saying that your ass need to be in the nursing home. You have no right to lead. You know, when you hear that from Fox News, and when you hear questionable actions being called out by CNN, you know, CNN is the liberals' hero, news hero. You know, this is what it is. That's their hero. Okay, when you dealing with CNN is the gatekeeper of liberal bullshit. They the one that's supposed to put out fires, but when they can't put out any more fires, man, you know, it's getting to be very. I don't think he gonna make it. I don't see him making it, guys. I don't see him making it, because mainstream media is really turning on this guy. As fast as he gets up there and make a speech, they turning on him. I mean, Fox News been on this, been exposing the bullshit, but to see CNN starting to turn, I just want to know when MSNBC, Joy Reid, after she done kissed his ass so much, starts being a hypocrite and start joining the gang too. I mean, you know, her and Lamont Hill, all those guys, you know, it takes them a little longer to join the crowd. They have to wait until, you know, their white liberal zaddy comes to them and say, okay, I need you to go and follow suit now. Oh, let's continue.
Pete, the humiliating way in which we left Afghanistan, and it was humiliating, how much more painful is 9/11, is this 20th anniversary? How much more painful is Biden making it for Americans?
Well, very much so, especially since he attempted originally to set the date on 9/11 and then realized that was a terrible idea, but instead moved it forward and exacerbated the problem completely. You know what I'm trying to do, Rachel, and we're going to be live on the air tomorrow with Fox and Friends. I'm doing my best to separate the absolute sheer incompetence of what Biden has unraveled in Afghanistan, which Sean said so well, from the recognition that the heroes deserve for this day 20 years later, and the desperate plea that we not forget, and the desperate plea that we not take our eye off the fact that there are radical Islamists still to this day that seek our destruction, that now have a mega terror state in Afghanistan. And ultimately, if we forget what their goals are, which is the destruction of the West, we will be incapable in future generations of addressing it, not to mention threats like the Communist Chinese. So yes, Joe Biden has made it eminently worse. Sean is totally right. But tomorrow is a day to remember, so that we have the ability, maybe, sort of, possibly, to muster a response should we need to, which looks more likely in the future.
Pete, Sean, thank you very much for joining me.
Y'all, shout out to 9/11, man. I mean, shout out to 9/11. I mean, real talk. You know, y'all don't understand, like, 9/11 is, like, really important to me because I remember what I was doing at 9/11. I was in my senior year of high school when all that went down. And when I seen those 2 planes hit those Twin Towers, you know, I thought it was a dream, you know, like an action movie or some shit that they was trying to promote. But when I finally realized that it was real, that America was being under attack, people falling out the building on fire, I ain't gonna lie to you, I cried that day. I really did. I cried. I was angry. It what made me the guy I am today. Made me very patriotic. Made me where I will not take bullshit about anybody dissing this country because this country has been good to me. I mean, since I've been in it, I was born in it. I have had every opportunity. Ain't nothing wrong with that 0% liberal. But, you know, it just made you wonder. It makes you appreciate America a lot more. It makes you more patriotic than ever. That's why when I hear people say that there's no opportunity here, that there isn't no, that people is, that America is filled with hate, I have to laugh. I really do, because everywhere I've gone, everywhere I've come and communicate with, I've seen nothing but love. Y'all keep hitting that like button. The hate comes with the misinformation. It's the ignorancy that causes the hate. It's the people who wants to keep this thing going because they like drama. And they like to find every excuse in the book not to admit that they're a failure. You know, that's the one thing about denial. When you're in denial about some shit that you know is wrong and it's all because of you, you'll find everything you can a lot of times when you're in denial to keep from facing it. Because, you know, the day you face it, that's the day you got to realize that you were fucked up, not everybody else. But I'm going to keep on going with this video here and tell you my thoughts of what has happened with what was just being revealed. I'm not surprised. No one should be surprised. Now, liberals going to spin it as, oh, fake news. Or my favorite, oh, well, that person that's working with us, they were really dirty. Okay. Or, well, you know, this is just a setup that the Taliban did or ISIS-K did to fool us. You know, they always got an excuse. But the point of the matter is, y'all botched a fucking strategic dream of a movement that could have been pulled off with not out of hitch. You had the Taliban that took over, looked you in the eye and said, listen, we just want our country back so you can hold things down till you get all your people out and that's it. You still would have been somewhat of a success. I mean, yeah, it would have been fucked up the Taliban took over, but at least you could have said, hey, you know, we pulled out, we didn't lose any lives. We got all the Americans out of there. I mean, you could at least had a little bit of a sign of a rainbow in the sky off this, but no, you didn't. Let's move on to the next story that's going to blow y'all guys' mind. Okay? I want y'all to read this. Now, I had to screen record this as well, too. All right? I really did. I had to screen record this, so give me 1 second. Please hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button, too.